Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
It's this little bone that has the Tar Heel Nation on pins and needles.
And researchers here at Carolina may have a breakthrough in male birth control.
I'm Katie Murray. Do you have a job yet? More seniors may have a job than you'd think.
Plus, can you do this? And you didn't think cheerleaders were athletes. Good evening, I'm Kathleen Whitty.
And I'm Sydney Swafford. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
You got me between a rock and a hard. I cannot give you any answers. I've given everybody all the answers that I can give because I've said honestly, I do not know.
It's what everyone's talking about on campus. Will Kendall Marshall play in the remainder of March Madness?
In UNC's third-round game against Creighton, Marshall injured his wrist. Reporter Aaron Holcomb has more on the injury and asks a doctor about the possibility of Marshall's return to the game on Friday against Ohio University.
Shaped like a peanut, this is the little bone causing Tar Heel fans so much grief. While attempting a layup in the Creighton game, Marshall fell to the court, tried to catch himself, and ended up fracturing his scaphoid bone, a sports injury that Dr. Terry Messer says is one of the most common and one of the slowest to heal.
It's a difficult bone to get to heal because it's got limited blood supply.
Earlier this week, Marshall had a screw inserted to hold the bone together while it heals.
The screw is used more commonly to get people back, to get it to heal a little bit more quickly, and it does improve the healing rate a little bit.
Messer says the earliest he's had someone recover from a scaphoid fracture was 4 weeks, but the typical recovery time is 6 weeks.
Regardless of what the treatment is, I can tell you it won't be healed by this weekend.
If Marshall does play Friday, he'll likely have his right hand in a splint, meaning his thumb may be immobilized. Each movement of the hand and wrist forces the bone to move and places pressure on the fracture. Now, Marshall is left-handed, so if his right hand is immobilized in a splint, he's going to have difficulty supporting the ball, making it harder to take a shot. Marshall's father says it's still possible he could play this weekend, but Messer says he wouldn't advise it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Aaron Holcomb, Carolina Week.
Sports director Andy Reeves joins us. Now, Andy, have you heard anything new?
Well, Sydney, we do know that Marshall got his cast off today, but as for his status tomorrow, honestly, I don't think anyone really knows, including Roy Williams, who you just saw. We'll have more reactions from him in yesterday's news conference later in sports. However, fans are really rallying behind Kendall Marshall and have started a Twitter page called Pass First, with the S in first replaced with the number 5, Marshall's number. On the Twitter page, fans have been tweeting photos of the number 5 on their wrists. And guys, I have to be honest, I've gotten in on the action as well.
All right, Andy, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hearing more later in the show. These days, you never know where your picture will end up. An eerie billboard in southern India is hitting home for many in the Carolina community. Here you can see the face of our murdered student body president, Eve Carson. You can see it right there. She's on a billboard advertisement for Jubirich Consultancy, a company that helps people find jobs in Western countries. It isn't clear how the company got Carson's photo, but apparently the ad has nothing to do with her death.
A UNC professor jailed in Argentina on drug smuggling charges says the university is refusing to help him. Physics professor Paul H. Frampton says, and the university confirms, that he is no longer being paid. Frampton was arrested in late January after Argentine authorities found cocaine built into a panel of his luggage. Frampton says the cocaine was placed there without his knowledge, and he's sure he'll be cleared of all charges. He says that he has received no aid from the university, and with his salary gone, he's unable to pay for legal defense. Well, this isn't the first time we've talked about finding a job on Carolina Week. We've introduced you to ways to help ease the pain through the General Alumni Association and Career Services. But I have to say, I still dread that question when asked what I'm doing come May. Well, Katie Murray joins us live in the Reese Digital Newsroom. Katie, is all the negativity surrounding the job market accurate?
Kathleen, I found that UNC students are getting jobs and they're landing them quicker than you might imagine. Take a look.
Should be a junior math major at UNC, but with more than 120 credit hours, she plans to graduate in May. And not only that, she already has a job. Haupt has accepted a position as a business analyst with a company called Red Ventures. She didn't want to disclose her salary, but she did say it was more than the graduating average of $40,000.
I couldn't believe it when I got the call. I was really surprised and excited that they hired me.
She says her parents were shocked too.
I don't think they were aware that I had been actively searching as much as I had been.
And Haupt was actively searching.
When I saw the possibility of graduating early, I started attending different info sessions at Career Services and researching different possible job and career paths that I could take.
UNC Career Services helped Haupt find companies to apply to and helped her arrange interviews.
I think that there are a lot of resources on campus, especially in Career Services, that not all students use, and I think more students should take advantage of them.
University Career Services, this is Tim Stiles. May I help you?
Tim Stiles at Career Services says there's a growing demand for students with technical skills like Haupt, but liberal arts majors should not get discouraged about finding a job. The most recent complete figures show that 54% of graduating seniors in 2010 secured a job before they graduated in May. 74% had one within 3 months.
I think what Carolina students don't realize is they're still highly sought after because we're a very competitive school.
It's all about starting early and working with Career Services.
Let's start where we're at. Let's build on the assets you've got. Let's build momentum.
Stiles urges students to take advantage of Career Services and their resources. Haupt will tell you the very same.
Now, just to make this clear, these figures come from a survey with a 35 to 45% response rate. Out of all the departments, Stiles says the business school, journalism school, and nursing school have the highest response rate. We want you to log on to reesenews.org and let us know what you'll be doing after graduation. You can leave a comment, take a poll, or tweet at Reese News. We'll read the best responses later on in the newscast.
Well, I look forward to seeing those responses. That's Katie Murray live in the Reese Digital Newsroom. Thanks, Katie. Also on seniors' minds, graduation. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg will be the keynote speaker this year. But some students are upset with this choice because of how the mayor handled the Occupy movement. So now an alternative graduation ceremony will take place in Forest Theater at the same time as the regular ceremony. Kathy Kelly, a peace activist, Charles Eisenstein, author of the book Sacred Economics, and Richard Muhammad, a member of Occupy Wall Street, will all be speaking. For more information about the alternative graduation ceremony and to RSVP, go to alternativeunc.com.
Former Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain will speak at UNC tomorrow afternoon. Cain, who dropped out of the race in December, will address students at 4 o'clock in the Biomolecular Research Building next to UNC hospitals. The event is sponsored by College Republicans, UNC Economics Club, and Young America's Foundation. It will be free and open to all UNC students.
Helene Cooper is a White House correspondent for the New York Times, but she's also a UNC School of Journalism alum. And last night she was back at her alma mater to give the Nelson Benton Lecture on Covering the President. Her speech in the George Watts Hill Alumni Center detailed her experiences riding on Air Force One, getting a behind-the-scenes look at our commander-in-chief, and being the first reporter to break the news of Osama bin Laden's death. Alert Carolina has taken a lot of criticism this year, and now it's responding with some changes. Last September, the Alert Carolina sirens rang out over campus twice for 2 separate tornado warnings in Orange County. Students were confused by the multiple sirens and didn't know how to respond. Now the sirens will only sound when there is a tornado warning in the Chapel Hill-Carborough area specifically, but not for a generalized Orange County warning. Alert Carolina will also be sending out emails to inform students of crime in the area, even if it's not an emergency.
And plans for a new student housing development in Chapel Hill have neighboring residents upset. Right here on Homestead Row is where developers want to build 180 housing units, but more than 400 citizens have already signed a petition opposing the project. The Chapel Hill Town Council is considering the plan. We all know what it's like trying to find parking on campus.
It's pretty impossible, but some students have found a way to ease the pain, but it might not be an option for long.
Reporter Patrick Wright tells us how a town council decision could affect how close to campus students can park.
Delia D'Ambra pays $800 to park here on Cameron Court for an entire year. And while the price is a little steep, she says you can't beat the convenience.
I just like being able to park here whenever I want. If I want to go hang out with my friends, if I want to go to Franklin Street, I can park any time of the day and I don't have to worry about being towed.
Well, that could change. 4 cars per lot. It's the way things have been here in the North Side and Pine Knolls neighborhoods since January. First came complaints from community members about student behavior in the area. Then major changes from the town council.
A big part of the community plan are some zoning changes.
Some of those changes include an ordinance that prevents more than 4 unrelated people from living in the same house, along with the new parking restriction. Officials say it's been successful enough to possibly enforce across the entire town.
What we told the council is we would come back to them in about a year with an evaluation of how effective the new regulations have been in the neighborhood. If we determine that they're effective, the council may wish to impose the regulations on other neighborhoods.
Now, the problem for Deambra and her fellow parkers is there are currently 6 people parking at this house. That means if the council passes the citywide ordinance, 2 will have to find a new place to park.
And I would be really disappointed if that went away because it would make my search harder.
Making the remaining off-campus spots much more valuable. In Chapel Hill, I'm Patrick Wright, Carolina Week.
And just for reference, it would cost Deambra nearly $300 less to park in Cobb Deck and almost $400 less to park at Morrison Residence Hall.
Well, coming up, Apple and magazines colliding here at UNC. We'll tell you all about the apps next.
Connect with us online by liking the Carolina Week Facebook page and following us on Twitter at Carolina Week UNC.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The birth control pill became widely available for women in the 1960s, but still, now in 2012, half of all pregnancies in the United States are unintended, and a little less than half of those are terminated.
One medical researcher at UNC is looking into another alternative to avoid those unintended pregnancies, this time with the men in mind. Reporter Amber Roberts has the story.
Assistant Professor of Pediatrics, James Saruta, is looking for a way to help men be more involved in birth control. He believes it is important to bring another male contraceptive to the market. Saruta says only 25% of men use any form of contraception.
The purpose of our research is to provide men with an alternative method for contraception because, currently men only have 2 choices: vasectomy, which is a surgical procedure, and the use of condoms, which many men don't actually use.
Saruta has been testing his new method on lab rats. He's found the combination of heat and ultrasound kills sperm. Here's a snapshot of what the rat sperm looks like before the heat and ultrasound treatment. And here's what it looks like after. The effects of the treatment last 6 months. Saruta says once the research is complete, men would be able to walk into any physician's office and have the treatment applied to them. Sounds easy enough, but there are concerns.
What's supposed to happen?
It would kill your sperm count.
Whoa! Okay. Nah, man.
I do feel that it is very important to have that option open. If it works and doesn't have any crazy side effects, it could be good.
What does it hurt to have more contraception out there? Saruta says the research is all but completed. In the next year, he'll be verifying this technique is safe, effective, and reversible. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amber Roberts, Carolina Week.
At the end of this month, you'll be required to dial the area code for all outgoing calls, local and long distance. Due to the population increase, the 919 area code is almost out of numbers. All phone lines added in April will have the area code 984. Now, once this takes effect, everyone will have to dial the full 10-digit number, otherwise your calls won't be completed.
With iPhones, iPods, and iPads, Apple really does seem to be taking over the world. And now some UNC students are helping them do it. Amy Whitaker has more.
UNC senior Jenna Moore is the graphic designer for her magazine design class. You'd think her final product would look something like this. But for the first time ever, her class created not only magazines, but also interactive iPad apps.
It was really, really exciting to see
things that were just print come to movement and come alive on the iPad.
One of her favorite things is this house accessibility map for people with special needs.
So on the print magazine, I kind of zoomed into the parts of the house where the tips, that the tips reflect.
But on the iPad, when you click on a bedroom, you get a virtual tour. Moore's professor Terrence Oliver says he's glad he pushed her to the next level.
We need to be progressive as a school and give students opportunity to be at the forefront of technology.
The app was his idea. He says although he's happy with the outcome, he'll keep pushing for even better things.
How can we build on this? How can we make it stronger, better, faster, whatever, more effective ultimately for the reader?
Moore says the skills she's learned are invaluable in a world of ever-changing technology. In Chapel Hill, I'm Amy Whitaker, Carolina Week.
Oliver's class produced 2 84-page magazines and 2 iPad apps. One is called Wabi Sabi and the other Bean and Leaf. You can download those for free at the App Store.
UNC's computer network is tightening security. Starting on March 30th, you'll need your Onion and password to access remote desktop tools and on-campus printing. The increase in security is a direct response to a rise in the number of intrusions to the campus network. The security system blocks from 3 to 4 million unwanted connections per week. UNC students will have access to a new social media site in April. Alums Vivian Zhu and Brandon Thornton created Balloon Duck. The site will be a space where people can ask opinion-based questions. They describe the site as being a combination of Twitter and Yahoo Answers.
We told you earlier that according to a survey at Career Services, 54% of seniors will have a job by graduation. But we wanted to know how all of you were feeling about the job market. So Katie Murray is in the Reese Digital newsroom with responses from our poll. Katie?
Most of those people who took the poll said they have absolutely no clue what they're going to do after graduation. They were 37% of the vote, but coming in a close 33% of the vote said they've nailed a great job. Tied with 10% of the vote, we have taking on an internship and heading to grad school.
All right, sounds like Carolina students have some good plans. A few of us don't know, but we'll get there. Thanks, Katie. And a danger may be lurking in North Carolina's coastal waters. And we're not talking about a great white shark. No, we're talking about trash. And the impact trash has on the coast could be larger than you think. Health reporter Jean Marie DeStefano has more.
Outer Banks resident Whitney Hines says she sees it every day. Plastic, all kinds of plastic, all over the beach.
See a lot of drink bottles, Mountain Dew, Gatorade. There's plastic bags floating around. You come up out of the water, it's in your face. It's kind of annoying.
And these plastic bottles and bags may be dangerous.
The problem with plastics, like this water bottle, is that they don't ever go away. They break down into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. Those tiny pieces end up here, along the coastline.
Microplastics are plastic pieces which are smaller than 5 millimeters in length. According to a study from North Carolina State University, microplastics act like sponges, absorbing large amounts of toxins. Corolla lifeguard Adam Hess explains how this might affect beachgoers.
I just imagine all the little fishes out there are probably eating all of that, and we like to eat those fish, so as a result, we're going to kind of be ingesting those plastic matters.
Environmental writer Matt Walker represents the Outer Banks Surf Rider Foundation. He says these pieces may never go away.
The actual chemical level, they never actually breaks down to, say, carbon or something like this. So then that means they continually get passed along and further along up the food chain.
Environmental advocate Anna Duncan Pardo says big questions remain about plastics in the food chain.
What is their environmental pathway? Are they going to end up affecting us? And the answer is almost certainly yes.
Coastal communities are doing their part to cut down on the plastic garbage. Businesses in coastal Currituck, Dare, and Hyde counties are subject to a state-mandated ban on plastic shopping bags. Beachgoers can do their part by reducing the amount of plastic they use. In Corolla, I'm Jean Marie DeStefano, Carolina Week.
There was some all right looking weather out there on the beach. I'm jealous.
There certainly was, but we've had rain and thunderstorms a lot this week. We'll find out whether or not that'll keep going the rest of the weekend. Weather's next.
I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Katie McGee, and welcome back to Carolina Week. Looking ahead at today's weather headlines, we can see what unfortunately looks like an increased pollen trend, which is an association to our return to spring-like weather. And then we'll also take a look at what unfortunately seems to be a rainy outlook for our weekends. Breaking down the next couple of hours for you in our fast forecast, we can see around 8 p.m. we're expecting temperatures around 68 with a few showers overnight, which will turn into thunderstorms around midnight. And we'll expect temperatures around 63. So if you're going out tonight, be sure to remember your umbrella and rain jacket. And then by 8 a.m. Saturday morning, we'll be expecting partly cloudy skies and temperatures around 60. So our Thursday can start warming up. Looking ahead at our satellite image, we can see a few scattered clouds over North Carolina. However, what we're really worried about is this huge cloud mass over Central America. Now, if you've heard about the severe storms around the Texas area, that's an association with this cold front. However, what we really want to keep our eye on is this purple, which is called an occluded front, and that's an association with lots of precipitation that moves very slowly. So looking ahead at tomorrow, we can see that barely moving, surely but slowly towards North Carolina as that rain expected to develop overnight moves off coast. Tonight, we can expect temperatures around 57 with scattered showers, and don't be surprised if you hear an occasional thunderstorm or two. And then tomorrow, all of that precipitation will turn into what should be dangerous early morning fog. So be careful driving to work tomorrow morning. And again, that intermittent rain will last as we see temperatures rise up to 79. Now, taking a look at the pollen trend, we can see especially high levels predicted for tomorrow at the most severe, and then we'll balance out to moderate levels for Friday and Saturday. So for those of us with pollen allergies, it's not over yet. Now the big news, the Sweet 16 basketball game against the Ohio University Bobcats tip off at 7:47 p.m. Friday with a temperature of 65 before the game and 58 afterwards, but there will be rain, so if you are traveling to St. Louis, don't forget that umbrella and raincoat. Looking ahead at our 5-day forecast, again, we can see the thunder showers predicted for tomorrow and then increased storm chances throughout the week as temperatures warm up to Friday and then cool down Monday as we see that weather move in and bring us all of that rain.
I gotta say, I'm disappointed in you, Katie. I thought you were gonna bring me some sunshine for this weekend. Maybe.
Soon.
Anyway, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Coming up next in sports, and you try to say they're not athletes. We take a look at what it takes to be a UNC cheerleader.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I
I
am
am American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American. I'm an American.
I am American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
It's the question on everyone's mind. Will Kendall Marshall play this weekend? Good evening, I'm Andy Reeves. It's a question that not even Roy Williams can answer just yet.
I have no idea. I mean, I know you don't like that, but guys, I'm being truthful with you. If he comes running in here now and says, God, I can play, I'll say, well, let's talk about this.
Well, without Marshall in the lineup, the matchup could come down to length. There you see John Henson just reaching over opponents to grab that board. And that length also helps on offense. A nice dunk there by Henson. And the Heels will be they'll have even more of a size advantage with ACC Player of the Year Tyler Zeller. And if they can use all that length to their advantage, and Harrison Barnes is hitting shots like that, the Heels could keep on dancing even without Marshall. Now, this week was a big one for the football team as well. UNC held its annual NFL Pro Timing Day yesterday. Quentin Coples was the headliner. He's projected as a top 10 pick in the upcoming NFL draft there, and you can see why. Check out that hip movement. That's nice right there. There were scouts from all across the country from different teams in the NFL, including New York Jets head coach Rex Ryan. There you see him right there in the middle. Linebacker Zach Brown and a host of other Tar Heels participated as well. Notable absences included linebacker Ebel Okapu, who was dismissed from the team, and star receiver Dwight Jones, who was held out because of a party he promoted in December that nearly cost him his eligibility. And we've talked about basketball and football, but reporter Mark Griffin has a story of a group of UNC athletes that don't receive nearly the same attention.
Do you think you could do this? Or this? How about this? She can.
It's frustrating, but if people would come in here and try to do it, it's a lot harder than it looks. I mean, having one person stand on your arm and do like tricks in the air is really difficult.
It takes athletic skill, and the cheerleading team hones those skills in workouts. These sessions focus on developing power and balance.
What the football team would do as far as like snatches or jerks and stuff like that is kind of similar to like what we would do.
These workouts allow the cheerleaders to do moves like this. While you may sit down to watch a game, cheerleaders are often on their feet.
During like a football game, you're bouncing and jumping up and down for about 4 hours.
And ready. The team has practices to work on their timing, where they do dry run-throughs of their routines. This allows the cheerleaders to sync their movements before they incorporate the lifting and tumbling. These practices help ensure that this doesn't happen on a game day. Next time you're at the Dean Dome for a basketball game, don't assume the action on the court stops when the referee blows the whistle. In Chapel Hill, I'm Mark Griffin, Carolina Week.
Well, guys, one of our usual news anchors, Preston Jones, is a cheerleader and is on his way to St. Louis right now to cheer on the Tar Heels.
He is indeed. I am jealous that he'll be in the dome when they play.
Yeah, I wish I was in his shoes.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Andy Reeves for sports.
Next, what are these people doing? Well, they're trying to make you laugh. We'll have more coming up.
Story idea? Call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write to Carolina Week, Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week online at carolinaweek.org.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So we're getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
In need of a good laugh? Well, lucky for you, the Carolina Comedy Festival is all this week. The festival kicked off with a show featuring Carborough's DSI Comedy Theater. The group performs stand-up and improv comedy at the historic Playmakers Theater. Even our new student body president, Will Lyman, saw you see him right there, got in on the fun by telling short stories that inspired the comedy. And on Friday, you can check out Lewis Black and Friends at Memorial Hall. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.